The aircraft you see behind us now, as you said, it's a result of 6 years of development, and it carries 4 passengers, 100 miles, and it will be 100 times safer than a helicopter.
Hello and welcome to The Switch. I'm Elena Casas, and today we're taking to the skies with electric aviation. Aviation is responsible for 2.5% of carbon emissions, but around 80% of the world's population can never afford to fly. The airline industry estimates demand for flights could go from 2 billion passengers in 2021 to 10 billion by 2050, meaning that without technological change, emissions will soar with them. In Bristol, in the west of England, startup Vertical Aerospace says they've come up with part of the solution: a 4-seater battery-powered craft that takes off vertically like a helicopter and flies like a plane.
So these forward rotors actually tilt from vertical, where they are at the moment, into horizontal position when the plane transitions to forward flight. So that enables the aircraft not just to take off vertically, but then achieve a top speed of about 200 miles an hour.
CEO Stephen Fitzpatrick has been working on the idea for 6 years.
It's only recently, like the last 2 or 3 years, we have seen advancements in battery technology that mean we can carry enough energy in battery cells with a light enough weight to make them useful for flying. So that's been happening, gradually. Batteries been getting better and better and better. You see it in the automotive sector. We've just reached the tipping point now where they're really starting to be useful for aerospace. The aircraft you see behind us now, as you said, it's a result of 6 years of development, and it carries 4 passengers, 100 miles, and it will be 100 times safer than a helicopter. And so it's a massive step forward in terms of our design, but also the available technology.
The VX4 prototype has so far completed only 1 test flight. These pictures are a digital simulation, but the company has already sold almost 1,500 aircraft to airlines including Virgin and American. Skyrocketing jet fuel prices this year have propelled airlines to invest in alternatives.
One of the benefits of flying all electric is that the operating cost per passenger mile is a fraction of what it would cost if we were operating a jet turbine powered aircraft. So not only does it require much less maintenance and operational overhaul, but the fuel itself, the electricity, is much cheaper than using kerosene or jet fuel. As we see rising energy prices all over the world, the attraction of flying electric is really clear. The cost per passenger mile is about 80% lower than a jet turbine or a kerosene-based equivalent.
Decarbonising the whole industry will not, however, come cheap. A recent report from the World Economic Forum said it could cost airlines $175 billion every year until 2050. In October last year, 290 airlines signed up to a goal to achieve net zero by that date. Electric planes can't solve much of that problem. Battery technology allows for a maximum range of about 200 miles.
It's never going to make it across the Atlantic on batteries only. And if you start to look at carrying more passengers and further, longer ranges, we need a whole different range of technologies. Longer distances, we see in the immediate future, the biggest opportunity is going to be for synthetic aviation fuel. So that's essentially a hydrocarbon like kerosene or gasoline, but that we can synthesize or manufacture using renewable electricity, water and CO2. You can create a zero carbon fossil fuel equivalent.
The team behind the VX4 say it will be most useful for short hops between and within cities, like JFK Airport to Manhattan, with no traffic, noise pollution or carbon emissions.
We're hoping to certify by 2025. We start to ramp up production slowly at first as we develop the manufacturing techniques and building up the industrialization of all the technologies. But certainly by the end of this decade, we'll see hundreds of these vehicles flying in cities all over the world.